by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
KSL News Time is 8:59. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the Nines, brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Cameron Elliott.
We're rounding out this morning commute with great speeds across the valley. Right now, the 201 is completely delay-free if you're headed east out of Tooele County, and the I-80 is also going to be quite the same story. Now, taking a look at I-15 as you come out of Utah County, also delay-free in either direction. It's going to be about a 50-minute commute if you're heading from Provo to downtown, where you will find delays, however, unsurprisingly, eastbound 2100 north in Lehigh as you approach I-15. Aubrey?
Well, if you're traveling between Ogden and downtown, I-15 is moving at good speeds. And if you are traveling up on Highway 89, Legacy Parkway, or the West Davis Corridor, those are all looking pretty good. There is still a little bit of slowing if you're on Highway 89 after you get off of I-84 and head north over into South Ogden. And still seeing that right lane stack up if you're trying to get onto Highway 40 from eastbound I-80 in Parleys Canyon. Downsize without compromise with Ovation Homes that fits your lifestyle. Join KSL's Greenhouse Show live at Ovation's newest active adult community, Cebolla Farms, July 11th with bingo, food, enter to win a J&J gift card, and more. I'm Aubrey Withrich in the KSL Traffic Center.
Chance of rain at 96 degrees today. Right now it's 82 downtown. Have a great movie show, Andy.
Thanks, Amanda. Have a great weekend.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. Utah residents near burn scars are anxiously watching the skies this morning in case of flash flooding. Today and tomorrow, there is over 50% chance of thunderstorms and rain in Salt Lake, a potential problem for businesses and residents near the Bonneville burn scar area, where the scar can act like a concrete slab funneling water downhill.
Really, all areas that have experienced recent fire and can have that potential for debris flow, flash flooding, are back in the crosshairs today.
National Weather Service meteorologist Sam Weber says this includes the Cottonwood Fire burn scar area, where it would only take half an inch of rain to flood. Huntington Canyon is now open. It was closed all night for crews to clean debris from the roadway. The Emory County Sheriff's Office says the Seeley Fire back in 2012 and the Trail Mountain Fire in 2018 left huge burn scars, and flooding still affects the area to this day. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Oil prices are rising again as the war in Iran once again rattles markets. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze on the impact here at home.
The average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage just hit 6.55%. Before the Iran war, rates did briefly dip below that 6% mark, and we know that difference can add hundreds of dollars onto your monthly mortgage payment. Borrowing costs are going up as oil prices rise again. Investors are worried that if oil and overall inflation stay higher, the Federal Reserve will be less likely to cut interest rates. This is putting a big damper on the housing market.
Pending home sales dropped 5% in June from a month ago. By the way, right now, oil trading at $81.29 a barrel. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 78 points. We're at 52,474. Coming up, we've got a chance of rain and thunderstorms really for the next 7 days, but we'll take a closer look in a moment. KSL weather next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
This is Nate Orchard from Advanced Window Products. When you live in Utah, your windows do a lot more than let the light in. They protect your home from freezing winters, blazing summers, and everything in between. That's why Advanced Window Products builds every window for your local climate. No middleman, no out-of-state delays, just factory direct quality, custom made for your home. Imagine a quieter home, a warmer home, a cooler home. Our high-efficiency vinyl windows are engineered to lower your energy bills and boost your comfort all year round. And installation is done by our own certified in-house crews, never subcontractors. That's why Utah homeowners give us 5-star reviews. Right now, take advantage of our anniversary sale. For a limited time, get $2,500 off when you buy 10 or more windows. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. For 40 years, Advanced Window Products has been the name Utah trusts for custom replacement windows and sliding glass doors. Advanced Window Products, built here, installed here, trusted here. Call 801-850-9100 for that $2,500 off, or visit us at advancedwindows.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Ugh, that hard water life, right, Utah? Scale buildup ruining your appliances, skin feeling rough, water tasting, well, less than amazing? There's a better way. Hi, this is the water boy Colson Firmage, and this is Culligan Water, your local water expert, making your water worries a thing of the past. We're talking top-rated water softeners and filters that protect your home, leave your skin feeling silky smooth, and make your water taste fantastic. For over 80 years, Culligan has been right here in Salt Lake City, a family tradition of cleaner water you can trust. Think of us as your friendly neighborhood water scientists. Is your current system even pulling its weight? Don't guess. Call us today for a free water test, no matter what make or model. Just dial 801-509-9602 or visit CulliganSLC.com. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off a new Culligan water filtration system, plus free salt delivery for a whole year. Experience the Culligan difference. Call 801-509-9602 or visit CulliganSLC.com. Culligan, water you'll love.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
Northbound I-15 just slowed down as you approach 90th South, though those delays are already starting to work their way out, so it must have been something like debris in the roadway. So it is a little slow right at 106 South now. Otherwise, though, I-15 looking good. We do have a new crash. This is in Lehigh on 2100 North, just west of Triumph Boulevard. It looks like it's on westbound. They are blocking the left lane there. It is a semi-truck, so it is slow and go as you go through there. Eastbound 2100 North, also pretty slow between Redwood Road and I-15. Don't miss one of today's top live performers, Joe Bonamassa, live at the Eccles Theater, August 20th. Buy tickets now at liveattheeccles.com. Joe Bonamassa. Every show is a new experience. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today we'll get up to 96 degrees with a chance of rain this afternoon. The same tomorrow. Sunday, a little less of a chance of rain. We actually have a chance of rain every day for the next 7 days. In fact, our biggest chance of getting some serious rain is Tuesday of next week. Right now, it's 83 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Hey, we're going to start this morning with a little breakaway here. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin is addressing the nation right now. He just started talking about election security. We're going to go to that right now.
We have 46 other states, and just 4 states. We've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California, and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. We also worked with proactive states to identify 28,000 non-citizens on their voter rolls, plus 400,000 individuals that are still registered to vote that are deceased. Now, these 23 states, they proactively worked with us on the SAVE program. That's Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, North Carolina, Idaho, Alabama, Missouri, Louisiana, Kansas, Arkansas, Wyoming, Montana, Iowa, Florida, South Dakota, Indiana, Arizona, South Carolina, Utah, Nebraska, Michigan, and my great home state of Oklahoma. What's interesting to me is we're getting pushback from activist judges that are saying that, hold on, the SAVE Act or the SAVE program, they are trying to put a stop to. Currently, because of the SAVE program, we have a pending appeal because activist judges are saying what? They don't want to secure our elections?
This is obviously partly in response to President Trump's address of the nation last night. He did talk about election integrity and casting some doubt on security and stability of our elections. This was a primetime speech. He claimed multiple times that China was involved in the 2020 election and they hacked voter databases, and that the so-called deep state was behind this massive cover-up.
Members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling.
Yeah, I mean, it was 6 years ago. But anyway, he says the documents show that hacking by China exposed voter roll information on hundreds of millions of Americans, and that over 275,000 names on voter rolls are those of non-citizens. But so far, there is no evidence to show that any of that occurred.
So the president gave a speech last night. It was 25 minutes. It didn't last an hour like Cami Mondo yesterday thought it might have lasted. But I need to say this. So not only was he casting doubt on the 2020 election, he's casting doubt on the 2026 midterms. And you just heard Markwayne Mullin double down on those claims, because what they're saying is there's all this information out there that somehow we have all of these people on these rolls, but the people in the states who do run the elections, they're like, that just simply isn't true. So what we've had is multiple lawsuits. This is looking at voter rolls right now with the federal government demanding voter rolls. So there are lots of voter information that is publicly available. In fact, in Colorado, they just said, look, if you want to see our voter rolls, go here. It's all available for you. What they want, though, is this information to say, hey, we want a centralized database. And I just heard the DHS secretary say, oh, well, there's activist judges. Well, what he's referring to is multiple states, 14 at least at last count, that have ruled against the federal government, demanding that states send them all of this information.
Yeah, there have been, I think, 14 or 16 lawsuits, and the administration's gone 0-16. That should give you a little bit of an idea about that. I don't know that they're activist judges. They're judges that are trying to do what they can based on
they are.
The evidence that they have. You know, and we're talking 6 years after the fact. We still have to go about this. It's a little troubling. Let's go more in depth on what exactly the president did say last night. This is from ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott.
The president closed out his speech by demanding that Republicans on Capitol Hill pass the Save America Act. That's his voter ID bill that would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and also severely restrict mail-in voting. But the president does not have the votes on Capitol Hill to get that through Congress. What's more is that bill does nothing to address the bulk of what the president was talking about yesterday, these allegations of foreign election interference, which his own intelligence agencies at the time said was just simply not true.
And it hasn't been substantiated by any credible source, which is unfortunate.
There's been multiple investigations, including largely by Republicans, and they just cannot substantiate any of these claims. In fact, a lot of what I've seen, and you can look at the documents yourself by going to whitehouse.gov, but a lot of what I've seen is the country that was trying to influence the election was Russia, and they were trying to do it in favor of President Trump. So you also have to remember that who was in charge of the 2020 elections? It was Republicans. It was President Trump and the people that he had appointed. So one of the things that I think that he was doing with this 25-minute speech last night was trying to push the Save America Act. This is the Mike Lee thing that they're trying to push. Even Senator Lee is admitting that it probably will not impact the coming election because we're just too close now in 2026. But you see Mark Wayne Mullen doubling down on this. You see the president doubling down on this. They're saying we have to pass the Save America Act. And I am telling you, they do not have the votes. And in fact, Senator Tom Tillis, he kind of went ballistic yesterday saying, I will basically gum up everything if you keep trying to force this down our throats.
Yeah, and it seems like that was the overriding agenda that Trump had last night in his presentation. A couple of our major networks didn't cover it. I think CBS and maybe NBC. Trump was upset about that and indicated that he thought their licenses should be pulled.
They covered it. They just didn't carry it live.
Okay. Well, he was not happy.
And CBS pulled out early. So they talked about it, but they didn't carry it live. So look, the Wall Street Journal said there is no evidence. He didn't produce any evidence the votes had been manipulated or the election outcomes had been altered. The president, as we mentioned, focused on China but glossed over Russia. And election security experts, we've talked about this multiple times on our show, say America's decentralized voting system with the power over elections with the states, that's a strength, not a weakness.
Yeah, and I think we do such a good job here in Utah. There's no election fraud in our state, and Republicans win overwhelmingly.
That was yesterday. We talked about. Now I can't remember who it was. The Republican who just said, "Hey, look, we control the House, we control the Senate, we control the White House. What part of election fraud are you pointing to? We won all the things."
Right. Yeah. Control the Supreme Court, for that matter.
That's a different story.
Based on election, right?
Yeah. So look, it's the president did address the nation last night. He wanted to talk about election security. He did, but there's still a lot of people who are saying, look, we need to focus ahead. We need to look forward to the 2026 midterms because that's what's coming up. We cannot relitigate or recast or revote the 2020 election.
Yeah, Trump is scared to death about the midterms. Let's face it. He's very, very nervous about that and is doing whatever he can to try to maintain his power base with both houses, and it seems like he's definitely going to lose the House, but the Senate's up for grabs, I think.
As you cast doubt on election outcomes, you do suppress voter turnout. It does happen. We know that. All right, coming up on Inside Sources, I want to talk about some other news coming out of the White House. This time, it involves a longtime teleprompter operator and some serious claims of insider trading on the president's own speeches that he knew about ahead of time. Stay with us.
Hey, what if I told you that 4 weeks from now, 4 weeks from today, everything could feel different? Your energy, your weight, the way your clothes fit, that's what Soda Dynamic Diet is built to do. Right now, listeners of our station can get 4 weeks free if they call 866-800-SODA and mention KSL News Radio. I hooked up with Soda about 4 months ago, and one of the reasons I did so is that they believe weight loss should be temporary, not something you're going to be dealing with the rest of your life. Results, however, should be ongoing, and instead of putting you on shots and pills and medications that become an ongoing commitment, Soda teaches you, and they taught me, how to eat for my body and to keep my weight off for good, and it has worked for me, and it'll work for you. Weight loss medications can cost a lot for some people, and the bill doesn't end, but Soda's different. I had a nutritionist who contacted me and met with me and went through my diet every week and guided me on what to do. And I lost 18 pounds in 4 weeks. And I ended up losing 30 in 7 weeks, and I've kept it off. Remember, you can get 4 weeks free when you call 866-800-SODA and mention KSL News Radio. Thousands of success stories, 9,000 Google reviews, real results that you can see. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Hey Utah, have you heard? Nuclear energy might be coming to our state. Now, before your brain jumps straight into sci-fi movies, let's talk about what nuclear actually does. Nuclear technology helps power our nation's submarines, supports life-saving cancer treatments, and produces reliable electricity for millions of homes. That said, nuclear power also comes with some common misconceptions. Don't worry, we get it. Here's a fun fact. You're exposed to more radiation eating bananas than you are living near a nuclear power plant. And get this, a lifetime supply of nuclear energy fits into a single soda can. Despite what some people believe, nuclear energy is safe, clean, and incredibly efficient. But don't just take my word for it. Energy decisions matter, and Utahns deserve the facts. Learn more about nuclear and what it can mean for you. Visit energy.utah.gov/nuclear.
Most families get their financial advice in pieces. A financial advisor here, a CPA there, an estate attorney somewhere else. Everyone means well, but nobody's talking to each other, and those gaps can work against you. Trajan Wealth's family office brings wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning together, not as separate conversations, but as one coordinated system built around your life, your goals, and the people who matter most. Ours is a true family office, not one that refers you out because it's convenient. This kind of dedicated collaboration used to require a 7-figure net worth, but here's the game changer. Trajan kicked that door open. Trajan advisors are fiduciaries, always obligated, always honored to act in your best interest. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax.
Picture this. You pull into your driveway, and for the first time in a long time, you love what you see. Beautiful new siding, bright energy-efficient windows, gutters that protect your home year-round, and a deck that makes the backyard feel brand new. Not someday, not after one more year. With RGS Exteriors, the home you've been wanting can start today.
Hi, Tim Brown here, RGS Exteriors. My family has been building and improving homes in Utah for 5 generations, and taking care of homeowners is something we take very serious. With over 1,300 5-star Google reviews, 21 Best of State awards, and our 10-year workmanship warranty, homeowners know they can trust RGS. Over 200,000 families across Utah have trusted RGS Exteriors with their home, and so can you. Schedule your free estimate today at 801-280-3110, 801-280-3110.
And expanded Inside Sources.
Well, insider trading might not be new, but it's not legal. A longtime White House teleprompter operator, though, who runs the teleprompter, or ran, I should say, the teleprompter for the president's speeches, he's out of a job now because he's facing allegations that he used privileged information to bet on what the president would say. So it's this Polymarket prediction betting, right, where he knew what was in the speech. I should be shocked, but I'm not.
Yeah, Gabriel Perez is his name. He allegedly made tens of thousands of dollars on Kalshi, the prediction market that you talked about, and on bets that President would make certain comments during his speeches. Yeah. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt acknowledged the claims, saying that they're trying to comply with the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, and that this man will no longer work for the White House.
So he made almost $100,000 over 3 months. That's wild. ABC News Washington managing editor Catherine Faulders has more. Catherine Faulders has more on the Start Here podcast from ABC News.
The way that Gabe Perez was allegedly doing this was on Kalshi, the prediction market website, and he would place these bets under something that's called a mentions markets. And what a mentions market is you click on the word mention if you are on the website of Kalshi, and you can see a list of various different things. What will Trump say during the State of the Union? What will Trump say during a joint address?
So you don't bet in your own name. I mean, I don't understand these people. Of course they're going to get caught.
So look, it's good. Well, look, people bet on wildfires. I mean, come on. So he was betting on the State of the Union, as we just heard, the president's speech at the World Economic Forum, his remarks during a Medal of Honor ceremony, if you can believe it. So the investigation took a few months, actually, but he put bets on things like whether the president would say the phrase radical left or election or Iran at least 3 times. More than $1 million had been wagered on those key phrases and more. But he knew, right? He knew what the president was going to say because he had already loaded the speech on the teleprompter.
And so what happens is these these prediction markets will look at trends and they'll say, boy, somebody sure made a lot of money on this. They'll do their own inside research, which they're required to do. The CFTC they want to keep in business. They want to keep their head above water. And so they'll do that. And then when they find insider trading, heads will roll. Well, the reason we're talking about this is because our own Senator, John Curtis, wants to crack down on insider trading for federal employees and almost seemingly want to ban it altogether because, let's face it, they do have a lot of insider information about what's going on with respect to even things like what could happen in the stock market, things like that. So he wants to, I don't know that his reach is that broad, but he certainly wants to put the kibosh to what's happening with a lot of our federal employees, not just elected officials, but even their staff.
Right. Right. Look, it's problematic. I think prediction markets, this gambling, I just think it's really inappropriate, of course. So John Curtis, as you know, like he had a little comment yesterday where he was like, well, this is why you should pass my bill. Right. Yeah. And it's prediction markets in Utah. In fact, the last legislative session, they classified prediction markets as gambling. And if you remember, like the prediction markets themselves, they're pushing back and saying, well, no, we're not. Look, we're commodities markets. It's like I don't even think it's a fine line. I think it's a really bright line. But
well, and Utah does too. Our legislators are looking at it very much like gambling. And the problem with any of these things is that if everybody's on the equal playing field, and I'm not saying gambling's ever makes sense because it causes other problems, financial and marital and that type of thing, but then it's one thing. But if you're doing things based on insider information, then you're cheating the system. You're cheating the other people who are part of that. If you're like, think about Martha Stewart. She sold some stock based on something that she knew was going to happen with a stock that she held. What happened to her? She went to prison.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what happens when you bet on insider information, when you game the system. And so these Kalshi markets, I mean, remember this, the National Guardsman who bet whether or not Nicolas Maduro would be taken into custody.
Right.
And he was part of the crew that took him into custody.
Right, exactly.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
He at least hid his identity. It took a little work to catch him and flush him out because he had hidden who was the beneficiary of these bets. But the problem was, I mean, if you bet $10,000, nobody cares. But you bet $1 million, or half people are going to go, "Hey, let's find out what's going on here." People just make the dumbest decisions.
I mentioned John Curtis, and his actual comment was, if only there were a solution. And then he linked to a bill that he has proposed, and the bill would stop insider trading from government officials betting on prediction markets, right? So this was back when the news just came out about the people betting on Iran and having insider information, but it would cover the president, the vice president, members of Congress, employees of the House and Senate, political appointees, and employees of an executive agency or independent regulatory agency. So this guy would have been caught up in that anyway. If they use insider information, if they use any of that for Polymarket or Kalshi or any other prediction market, and then they would have these reporting requirements and these sanctions and potential penalties. But
it seems like the safe course, Holly, might be what some people are already advocating, and that is if you're a member of Congress, you just can't trade on stock. You can't trade. You can't do anything while you're in Congress because you have so much control over it. And if you're a staff member of people who are in elected positions, that because the market is so under your control, or at least you have information about it, that you just shouldn't be involved in that at all. I think stock trades by anybody who's in nationally elected position is subject to all kinds of fraud.
Sure.
And maybe the safe thing is to say, you're in Congress. Let's just
there's supposed to be blind trust and all these things. So
right.
Yes, we know that. But and do people get around those? Yes, they do.
Of course.
So yesterday, Gabe Perez went quickly from on unpaid leave to fired. so he would even change in the middle of a speech. For example, if the president skipped a word that he had already bet on. Like he could change right live time while he was doing it. So he was so blatant, I guess, that even Kelce noticed because they're the ones who flagged it.
Yeah, he made money, but now he's lost his career, he's lost his job, and Curtis.
Oh, he's not going to get that money either. So.
Right, and Curtis has an interesting solution to this, and he says that people who are caught doing this should be fined double their profit.
Yeah,
so if you made a
you go.
You made a $10,000 bet. Your punishment is $20,000. It's not just a cough it up, but cough up double. That makes a lot of sense. There are also criminal penalties for some of these.
Yeah.
And you would hope that the CFTC and our regulators would keep an eye on that as well, because these are going to continue.
I really think that you need to separate commodities markets with this prediction gambling, because that's all it is. It's really just gambling, and when you can gamble on wildfires and where things will burn, man.
I've never looked at Kalshi. I don't know how to get in it. I've never been all that interested in that type of thing. For one thing, I don't have any inside information. I just lose my shirt.
I mean, even kids are using it. You can get it online, I know, and people will use it to bet on sports, but they'll use it so much so that they become addicted. And in fact, I will say I actually have a relative in my extended family who has been caught up in becoming addicted to the prediction market. So unfortunate, because what happens is a lot of times you end up losing.
And we've talked about it many times on this show, but gambling is an addiction and people get involved in it. And it's always like, boy, I'm down. If I could just get the next bet, I can make it up. And pretty soon you're done. And people have lost so much money on those things. You just think, man, if you just had dialed it back and played it safe, you'd be so far ahead. But people do dumb things. Anyway, enough of that. When we come back on Inside Sources, this is crazy. Mobs of teens taking over local businesses isn't exactly new. It's been happening for a long time. But now social media trends growing and growing. The dangers of hordes of teens gathering is getting worse. We're talking about teen takeovers when we come back.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, we're waiting to hear from the Lieutenant Governor's office after President Trump's speech last night. But back in May, they conducted an audit on the state's election system, which revealed exactly how many people on voter rolls were citizens and non-citizens. KSL News Radio's McKenna Rodriguez has details.
Election Director Ryan Cowley responded to the Department of Justice's claims and says Utah is compliant with both state and federal election law. And the comprehensive audit of Utah's election system and voter database showed that 99.72% of those who registered to vote were U.S. citizens. Lieutenant Governor Henderson says only a small handful of people, approximately 27 people, were non-citizens. The audit shows that this is out of over 2 million voter records reviewed. McKenna Rodriguez, KSL News Radio.
Students and faculty at Utah Valley University could find out today who will be the school's next president. The Utah Board of Higher Education meets this morning, and they're expected to announce the next leader of the school. Current President Astrid Tumines announced her retirement back in January after serving 7 years. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, future wars might be fought by robots. The Pentagon is highlighting 2 recent instances of drones doing jobs previously done only by people.
When 2 Apache helicopter pilots were forced to ditch in the Gulf of Oman, they were picked up by an unmanned boat. It was 3 drone boats that were sent to blow up an Iranian ship and submarine maintenance base last week. The startup behind the drones, Saronic Technologies, is breaking ground on an 850-acre shipyard on the Texas Gulf Coast and plans to start building vessels there by 2028.
ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Your money at this moment, oil trading at $80.89 a barrel, and the Dow is off just 5 points right now. We're at 52,542. Coming up, we've got a chance of rain and highs in the upper 90s for the next few days. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Breaking news doesn't wait, and neither should you. Get immediate news alerts anytime news breaks by downloading the KSL News Radio app for free for breaking push alerts on your phone, or subscribe to our breaking news text line. Just text news to 57500 to get started. KSL News Radio, your home for breaking news.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Progressive knows you've got plenty of things to worry about.
What time does the kids' practice end? How long has that check engine light been on? Are takeout containers microwave safe?
So the last thing you should have to worry about is what to do if something unexpected happens on the road. That's why if you're ever in a major accident, Progressive's accident response can detect it and send help. It's just one less thing to worry about.
How long does chicken last in the fridge?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Murphy's Law says that if your air conditioner is going to break down this summer, it's going to be when you least expect it and at the worst possible time. And for a lot of homeowners, the fear isn't just the breakdown. It's worrying about what happens next. Is this going to cost a fortune? Am I going to be pressured into replacing it? Can somebody just help me figure out what's wrong? At Any Hour Services, that's exactly what we're here for. Maybe your system just needs maintenance to help prevent breakdowns before they happen. Maybe a part failed and a simple repair gets you back up and running quickly. Or maybe your system's getting older, repairs are adding up, and you think replacing it makes more sense. Whatever the situation, we'll walk you through your options, answer your questions, and make sure you have the information you need to make the decision that's right for your home and your budget. Maintenance, repair, or replacement, you choose what's right for you. That's how Any Hour Services works. Options, not pressure. Call Any Hour Services next time you need help with your air conditioner. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. And here's Cormac Bone.
Right now, your trouble is eastbound I-80. That starts in Sugar House, where those delays are at 1300 East, and reaches all the way over to Foothill Drive. As far as I can tell, that's just slow traffic. I couldn't see anything in the cameras by way of debris in the road or crashes. But then through Parley's Canyon, you're in the clear until you get past Kimball Junction, where that right lane fills up at the US 40 turnoff. And then we are still seeing this crash in Lehigh. It's eastbound on 2100 North just before you get to Triumph Boulevard, creating some very dense traffic between Redwood Road and I-15. Head to Logan for a refreshingly unexpected getaway, charming downtown, recreation by day, and standing ovations by night. 156 live performances this summer. ExploreLogan.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be hot today, 96 for a high with a chance of rain this afternoon. More of the same tomorrow. 97 on Sunday and just partly cloudy, same on Monday. Then we start to come down to the lower 90s midweek next week with a good chance of rain starting on Tuesday. Right now it's 84 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Actually, the kids are not all right, and things have changed since The Who released this 1965 song because at that time, maybe the kids were all right. But we're hearing a lot of things that have us concerned about what kids are doing in 2026. We want you to text your thoughts about some of the things we're talking about here at 57500.
So, look, there are teen takeovers happening. They're closing beaches. There's assault. People have died. Is it just youth delinquency or something deeper? It starts with a social media post, and then it can result in thousands of kids descending on one spot, resulting, of course, in chaos galore.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, they had those dancing and other things that were organized, but these are more just like organized violence. I mean, just like start the clock and people go nuts. And it's crazy.
It's more than just a flash mob, right? And one of the things that you and I have talked about before on this show are dumb social media trends. I would put this in that category, dumb social media trends. So a 19-year-old was killed in Pensacola, Florida, over the 4th of July weekend. And in South Carolina, a female police officer was physically assaulted by multiple teens who only let her go after being restrained by law enforcement. In Raleigh, North Carolina, there were multiple shootings in one night with numerous injuries. Look, the police chief in Raleigh said he'd never seen anything like it in his 26 years of law enforcement. This is a crazy, crazy thing. They're calling a teen takeover.
Yeah, and even on the other side of the country, in California, a mob of teens took over Newport Beach on Independence Day and forced a lot of businesses to close down in order to protect themselves from vandalism and other kinds of destruction. I mean, I don't know. This is crazy.
It happened in D.C. I didn't even realize this, maybe because it hadn't hit Utah, although you should know that there's some stuff maybe happening in Utah this weekend. Tell your kids to behave. Anyway, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, it was Jeanine Pirro, of course, she told parents back in May that you better keep a hold of your kids and discipline them, or the federal government will do it for you.
Well, and you've got to know that when there's some social media post out there inviting kids or any group to get together and do something, that somebody's going to spill the beans.
Yeah.
It's going to be leaked. Law enforcement's going to be present. Law enforcement's going to have a greater presence, and they're going to take some people into custody. You don't want to be the parent of a kid who gets arrested this weekend because they got involved in some teen frenzy.
It's one where people are saying, law enforcement saying, look, we're going to start going after parents for not basically keeping your kids behaving appropriately. Look, I know that it can be hard to tell your teenagers what they can and can't do, but when it is turning into riots, like there's in Detroit, massive brawls, smashing windows, a 16-year-old was shot because they just descend on these places. They target cars with fireworks, like throw them into the cars or onto the cars. They attack law enforcement. They've attacked pedestrians. It's resulted in beaches, like you've said, being closed. Businesses have had to close their doors. So in one case in North Carolina, we mentioned it, 8,000 teenagers showed up to brawl.
How did I miss this? I've heard nothing about this. And in fact, we're getting something close to home, it seems like, even this weekend.
Yeah, and we're not going to advertise it, but I want you to be aware as parents, please be aware that there is some stuff going on. In fact, the Deseret News has an article that quotes a 16-year-old Utahn who she and her friends purchased live goldfish, and then they threw the goldfish onto car windows as the cars were driving down the road. And then they could watch the fish flop on the dashboard and freak out the drivers. This is not cool.
Yeah, I don't even get it.
This is not cool.
It's sad. I mean, a lot of our young people today are kind of looking for things, looking for ideas, solutions, but this is something that's going to get kids in trouble. And even if you're that 1 in 10 that gets arrested, boy, it could stay with you for a long time. Just don't go down this road. People think when you're a teenager and you get involved in the law that it's going to be something that disappears when you're 18, and that is absolutely not true. What happens when you're a minor, even if you are in juvenile court, can be discovered later on. It can be found the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
People say my juvenile record disappears when I'm 18. That is absolutely not true. It can stay with you forever.
And it's so dangerous, right? I mean, they're doing things that are dangerous. And I don't understand it, but for this Deseret News article that I'm looking at, they interviewed somebody from the University of Utah's Youth Comprehensive Assessment and Treatment Program. She said, first of all, social media is amplifying this teen takeover trend, but It's the prefrontal cortex. When we talk about kids' brains aren't fully developed yet, they're not. And we know that it takes until at least their mid-20s, right? It's still developing. So they don't always have the ability to make rational decisions. And sometimes they show up because they think it will be fun, and then it just devolves into chaos and not fun.
Well, let's just hope and pray, I guess, that Monday when we meet, we're not talking about something that happened here in Utah, because we don't need this. And our law enforcement community is not going to have any sense of humor. And they're not going to say, okay, kids are kids. If somebody gets hurt, if property gets damaged, if businesses get hurt, or law enforcement of all things get attacked, police will respond, and they will respond in ways that, could change a lot of young people's lives when they get taken to jail.
Right. So we've had on the show several times, Sam Abrams. He's a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and he teaches back east. But he said he thinks it's not kids that are necessarily out of control as they start, but they're looking for connection. And you know that from your work with gangs, right?
Yeah.
Is they're looking for a way to connect. And so he says, social isolation meets social media. So they meet up to be part of this thing that they can do together without, I think, maybe thinking through all the consequences. But this is not a good trend. And it's widespread. So like the stupid couch surfing stuff that people do, it's the smaller groups of social media dumb trends. This is a very large, I think, dangerous trend that our teens are getting involved in.
There was one that people would all dance at the same time.
You can do a flash mob where they sing or dance together. That seems harmless,
makes a little
doesn't
bit
it?
of sense, and people can get together and do that. I've never got involved, but it just seemed like, hey, come on, there are other things to do. So keep an eye on your kids this weekend. Keep an eye on your teens.
And I would say keep an eye on social media, because that's where it's being amplified and people are finding out about it.
Because the authorities are certainly keeping an eye on it, and they will be ready.
Well, speaking of social media, there's this story I want to talk about. So Real Salt Lake is apologizing for what some people are calling a snub on social media after they failed to recognize a highly decorated soccer player here in Utah who just so happens to be the wife of a former NFL star. KSL sports coverage after the break.
Hey, so summer's not over. We're halfway through it, and we still have several weeks left. And so if you're thinking, where do you want to be in 4 weeks? I have good news for you. SOTA Diet Nutrition can do things for you in 4 weeks and still make you look good for the summer, so that when your vacation's coming up, pictures are coming up, pool days coming up, don't sit on the sidelines. Start now with SOTA. No shots, no pills, no crazy restrictions. Get 4 weeks free when you call 866-800-SOTA and mention KSL News Radio. You can look different. Your energy can be different. Your confidence can be different. Your weight can be different. The way your summer clothes fit. That is what the SOTA Dynamic Diet helps you do. A degree nutritionist will build a plan around your body. Call 866-800-SOTA and mention KSL News Radio, and you get 4 weeks for free. It's based on food. It's not based on pills, not based on injections, and it will help you. It helped me. SOTA Diet Nutrition is, let's say it, state of the art.
There's nothing like getting outside, moving, and enjoying time with friends. Utah offers endless ways to get outdoors and stay active. Pickleball, hiking, biking, and more. Staying healthy is fun if you do it safely. Intermountain Health recommends taking time to stretch, warm up, stay hydrated, and pace yourself. These small steps keep activities safe and enjoyable for everyone. Because when you make health and safety part of every activity, you're taking care of what matters most: your life, your health.
Are you a local business tired of juggling deliveries, managing drivers, or sending valuable employees across town? There's a better way. Pigeon Ship. For more than 10 years, Pigeon Ship has provided fast, reliable, same-day and next-day delivery services for businesses throughout Utah. Whether you need a few deliveries a day or hundreds, Pigeon Ship has the network, technology, and experience to get it done on time. Auto parts, plumbing supplies, electrical components, pharmacy deliveries, and more. Utah's most successful businesses trust Pigeon Ship to keep their operations moving. Stop the stress of hiring drivers. Stop pulling employees away from their real jobs. And stop worrying about whether your deliveries will arrive on time. Join the thousands of businesses that rely on Pigeon Ship every day for dependable local delivery solutions. Visit pigeonship.com today to schedule a call and see how quickly Pigeon Ship can streamline your delivery operations. Pigeon Ship. Avoid the trip. Pigeon Ship. That's pigeonship.com. PigeonShip.com.
Can we talk about something difficult to discuss? Are you going through a difficult financial time? You have equity in your home, but nobody can help? American Home Loans has created the Bridge Loan Program to use your equity regardless of your credit at this time. The bridge loan can be used to pay debts, collections, IRS liens, divorce settlements, or home improvements. Call at 801-262-2221. That's 262-2221. This loan creates a bridge between now and a much brighter future. After COVID, one of their clients had over $85,000 in credit cards. Their scores were too low to borrow on their home. American Home Loans was able to save them $2,000 a month. And after 8 months, they qualified for a conventional loan and lowered their payments. The consultation is free and confidential. Please call them and see what they can do for you. The number is 801-262-2221. It's 262-2221, or go to AmericanHomeLoans.com. AmericanHomeLoans.com. NMLS 245422, Equal Housing Lender.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments. Clearly different wealth management. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley. A gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest. A sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
So this is a sports story that I feel like I can talk about because a well-decorated female soccer star from Utah was ignored and snubbed. And now, at least that's what her husband said, she's the center of a new apology after Real Salt Lake posted a celebration on social media for her husband only, former NFL player J.J. Watt. So RSL is a soccer team, and his wife, I think it's Kalia Ohai Watt, was in the picture. She wasn't even mentioned.
Yeah, and it's a cute picture of the two of them walking into the stadium. A beautiful kid between them. They're both happy. And Real Salt Lake posts this: "Welcome to the riot." What must be the name of the group of the fans? Stadium. What they call the stadium at J.J. Watt and family. So Watt posts this. This is funny. I mean, good for him. He says, "The woman in the photo grew up literally," and this is his wife.
Yeah.
They're all excited about J.J. Watt for good reason. But he says this: "The woman in the photo grew up literally down the road and won 4 Utah State championships, one in this exact stadium. Gatorade Player of the Year twice, National Player of the Year, scored the fastest goal in U.S. women's national team history." Probably could be worth a mention, but I don't know.
So it's like, oh, ouch. So even more on her. She won NCAA championships. She scored the winning goal for the United States in the 2012 FIFA Women's World Cup final. She played 8 seasons in the National Women's Soccer League, right? And they don't even mention her by name. So
and they're in a soccer stadium
where she
Welcome
won.
To the riot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good for her husband.
Right.
Right, for calling it out. But that tweet of his went viral. It had more than 4 million views in a few hours. National headlines from People Magazine, Fox News, TalkSport in the UK. So RSL issued a statement apologizing and failing to acknowledge Utah soccer royalty.
Yeah, I mean, good for them and good for him. I mean, this is all hopefully in the spirit of I mean, he's a big name. Let's face it, he's a star, former huge star with the NFL. I think he played for one of the teams in Texas. Maybe it was the Texans. Anyway, a mega star. But he's with a woman who is absolutely a star here in soccer, and they're entering the soccer stadium, and she's just as happy as she could be, and the post is all about him. But, I would say that the Real Salt Lake took the high road and said, we're so sorry.
Well, it's not the high road. I mean, they were embarrassed into it. I will say that. I mean,
Right.
At least they did. But this isn't the first time that stuff like this has happened. So, so let me tell you another time. There was one where Simone Biles, of course, gymnastics legend.
Right.
She was described as an NFL wife. In a
Oh.
picture that included her and her husband because she is married to an
I didn't know
NFL
she
player.
was married to an NFL
Yeah.
player.
And
NFL player with his wife.
yeah,
Hello.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So it's like that would be like describing Taylor Swift as an NFL wife, right?
Right, yes.
It's like stop doing that.
Right, yeah.
Stop doing that. And I think it's unfortunate. So JJ Watt did respond to Real Salt Lake's apology. And he just said, respect and appreciate taking ownership of it. Best of luck with the rest of the season. But his wife actually retweeted her husband when he was calling them out. She hasn't responded yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's fun. I mean, we think about the notoriety of people, and hey, he's going to be in Utah, and they were investing in a team. They had made a significant investment into some team. I don't recall what it was. It was a team I'm not familiar with, and they were talking about their involvement with that and their position there. And I guess they're probably going to be living here in Utah. Who knows? But they're a big part of the community here, a big part of the Real family. And she, of course, is a superstar, an absolute superstar, and probably should be recognized as such.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So she's a sideline reporter with Amazon Prime Video, actually, to do National Women's Soccer League broadcasts. So she's still out there in the world of soccer, and this is a soccer thing, and they don't even acknowledge her. So they have fixed that. But it also, like I've said, this is not the first time it happens. It happens, unfortunately, all too often with female athletes and in other areas as well.
Yeah,
But-
she did win 4 state titles
I know.
here at Alta High School.
I know.
And played at it was then Rio Tinto Stadium. She won NCAA championships with North Carolina, scored the winning goal, like you said, for the U.S. team. And she played professionally for the Chicago Red Stars and the Houston Dash.
Yep.
And he was playing for the Houston Texans. That's where they met.
Yep.
While they were both in Texas, they fell in love, got married, and and they've seemingly have a great, beautiful family. And he's the name, he's the picture, but he's good for him for saying, hey, you know who this other person is?
Yeah.
And then he goes through and names her accomplishments. And then he says, could possibly be worth a mention, but I don't know.
Absolutely. So speaking of soccer, this weekend is, I guess, the World Cup finals. The game for third place will be played tomorrow, and then the finals between Argentina and Spain, right? Am I right?
Exactly.
Will be played on Sunday. But one of the things that's interesting to me, and this will lead into our next segment actually, is they're scheduled to play where the air quality right now is really, really bad because of fires. And I'm wondering if that's going to have any impact at all on the World Cup, right? Because they have all of this wildfire smoke coming.
Do you know where they're playing?
I think New York.
Because I was going to say we'll talk about this after the break, but there's some wildfires in Canada
That's
that
why.
are hitting some of our northern
Oh yeah, that's why.
northern cities.
So playing the World Cup there, I mean, I just wonder because we know for sure that there are health impacts, right? There are health impacts. So yeah, wildfire smoke affects New York area ahead of World Cup final. So it's unhealthy air quality, but they're hoping maybe that there might be a little bit of wind or something. But there's so much smoke you can barely see the stadium.
The United States has done a masterful job with the World Cup, and I know FIFA had as much to do with it as we did here in the country. But these have been great games. They've been a lot of fun. Of course, we have sort of heroes that have come out of it. The Norwegian team was just wildly
so fun.
Received,
Yeah.
and even the Bosnia-Herzegovina team that's stationed here in Salt Lake were really well received. And we've got one more game left. It's the championship game.
There's two.
Well,
There's
okay,
the play
so
for
there's
third
a
place.
and fourth place game,
Yeah.
which is also very significant. That'll be France against England
Yeah.
For third and fourth place, which, again, huge games. They'll be so much fun. I just hope that the whole thing ends on a high note for the U.S. and that FIFA will consider World Cups here in the future. Of course they will. But I think America has done a great job with the World Cup this season.
It's been interesting to watch. I think Norway kind of won hearts and minds, but maybe hearts at least with their star player. But I saw a thing this morning too that talked about how much money some people have spent to follow the World Cup. There's a kid from England who spent $40,000. $40,000, like all of his savings, everything he could.
So he could come here and follow his team,
so that he could follow them around. Yep.
Well, good for him. I mean, you know what? If it's important to you, then I get it. The national attention.
I couldn't do it.
No. But that's his life. I mean, that's something important to him.
Right.
You see the fans, people who come here to support their national team. I mean, it's bigger in virtually every country than it is in America. And we love our soccer here, but not like they do in like Argentina and Spain. I mean, it's big.
Well, there have been people who've been killed for not performing well in the World Cup, so that's not good.
Yeah, we're not going to.
But look, I mean, I saw that story of the $40,000 in context of an online question of if you had the money, would you spend it on one vacation? Holy cow.
Yeah, but if you did, might be World Cup, come to the United States and watch the national team. So listen, the next hour, we've talked about fires, we talked about wildfires. We'll get a load of this. Lawmakers in Michigan are mad at Canada for all the wildfire smoke blowing into their state. What can Canada officials do? Who knows? They're doing everything to put out the fire. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, people living near burn scars in Utah are being told to watch for possible flash flooding through the weekend. Meteorologists say just a half inch of rain on a burn scar can cause flooding. A group in Wyoming wants Congress to approve a land swap between the BLM and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
We can't just waltz up to the BLM and say, we the people who belong to the church in Wyoming want to do a land trade because we don't own the land.
Wyoming State Representative Lloyd Larson says if approved, the swap would give the church ownership of the area known as Martin's Cove and give the BLM two pieces of land. One connects 4 wilderness study areas, and the other is near a landmark known as Independence Rock and includes nearly 2 miles of the Sweetwater River, including the site of the first bridge over the river. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Leaders in Iran say they targeted a U.S. military base in Syria today. Security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy says the U.S. has also been knocking out Iranian infrastructure.
What the U.S. is trying to do here is really try to curtail the regime's ability to fund itself. So a lot of these are economic targets. Bandar Abbas is a major port. The targets they hit around there obstruct their ability to move about 55% of their imports and exports. So it could have a major impact.
Mulroy says Iran can still manufacture some weapons and drones inside the country, but most of their weapons are imported, so the U.S. is cutting off shipments. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 77 points. We're at 52,463. Coming up, we'll have a few thunderstorms rolling through today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02. A reminder. reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Jeff Kaplan here, Xfinity Wi-Fi customer. I don't know how bad inflation's going to be in the months and years ahead, but I do know the inflation rate is 0 with the Xfinity Wi-Fi 5-year price lock guarantee. The most intelligent Wi-Fi that even fixes itself when there's a problem. Wi-Fi that hits every corner of your home, powered by fiber, built for speed. All of the benefits of the Xfinity network with 99.999% reliability and a 5-year price lock guarantee. Same price for 5 years, and this is important, no contracts, no commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You get everything you need. It's all included. Data, the best equipment, and the most reliable Wi-Fi. Yours within minutes, the price. Locked in for 5 years. Go to Xfinity.com or visit a store today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially when your real estate agent recommends a lender you've never heard of. That's okay, but this is your mortgage. Before you lock anything in, get a second opinion. Loans by Rick has closed over 1,000 loans, often finding lower rates and closing costs. A quick second look could save you money. Call 801-809-SAVE. That's 801-809-SAVE. Or go to loansbyrick.com. Rick Urchenbaum, NMLS 241179, and Vintage Lending, NMLS 287106, Equal Opportunity Lenders. Buying a home? Before you choose your realtor's preferred lender, a bank, or a credit union, get a second opinion from Loans by Rick. With over 25 years of mortgage lending experience and access to more than 80 wholesale lenders, we can shop multiple loan programs to help find the financing that best fits your needs. Experience and finding ways to save you money? That's what we do. Call Loans by Rick today at 801-809-7283. That's 801-809-7283. Rick Urchenbaum, NMLS 241179, and Vintage Lending, NMLS 287106, Equal Opportunity Lenders.
Right now, JCW's has 15 bus and billboards depicting our delicious, mouthwatering hamburgers across I-15. We've also just learned that I-15 averages 15 fender benders a day. Probably a coincidence, but just in case, keep your eyes on the road. Here's what our burgers sound like. Now, with your hands at 10 and 2, safely turn into one of our 5 locations in American Fork, Lehigh, Provo, South Jordan, and Harriman. JCW's. Quality and a lot of it.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. And here's Cormac Bone.
The crash that we had on 2100 North in Lehigh eastbound has cleared off the road, though there are still some residual delays that last between Redwood Road and I-15. On I-15, you shouldn't see any delays between Ogden and Provo, but eastbound I-80 still a little slow in the Mountain Dell Golf Course area. And we had some pretty hefty delays on southbound Legacy Highway just before you got to I-215. That was due to confusion in that construction zone. That is only one lane, so watch for congestion there as you come into Salt Lake. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy and 96 degrees today with a decent chance for scattered thunderstorms. Central and southern Utah will continue to see the biggest storms. A chance for storms continues into Saturday and then picks up again next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Right now, it's 84 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, some lawmakers back east appear to be blowing smoke today and inhaling a bit too. Wildfires in Canada have pushed a lot of smoke across the Midwest and Northeast, making a lot of lawmakers mad.
So it's a little bit ridiculous because lawmakers, there are some at least, that are demanding Canada do more to control the smoke and the fires. And really, like, how are they supposed to do that? Put a bunch of giant fans somewhere to blow the smoke out into the ocean and not down?
Well, we're glad that our neighbors in Colorado, Nevada, Idaho, and Arizona are not upset at Utah right now, because we've got wildfires, probably the most in the country right now, that are blowing.
Well, we certainly have the biggest.
It's everywhere, and it's a real trouble. You know, I'll just tell you a little story here. my daughter and her husband got married 8 years ago, and believe it or not, they invited my son and I on their honeymoon.
Oh.
And it was, no, it gets better. We went to Canada for a 5-day mountain biking trek.
Oh, wow.
Because they needed another couple. So what the heck? And we were in Canada, and it was during wildfire season. It was something I had never experienced before. We could not see, because everyone's like, these canyons you're going to enter are beautiful. We didn't know that. You couldn't see them. You could see the mountain bike trail because it's right in front of you. And we drove through that. We spent a week in that, and it was awful. It was like being in a movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine what it's like this year. It's probably worse.
It is, and it's been bad for several years. It was really bad in 23. It was bad again in 2025. It looks on track to be a bad season this year, although they're still kind of at the beginning. But right now, they have 858 wildfires actively burning across Canada. Nearly 200 of those are in Ontario. And along the northern edge of Minnesota, for example, there are 17 fires. But I have to say this. In Utah, we have 527 fires since the beginning of the fire season. We've had 9 in the last 24 hours. We've burned 378,000 acres. In Canada, they've burned a lot more acres than that already.
In the millions,
but
right.
13 fires started since yesterday in Utah.
Yeah, and so, a lot of officials in those northern cities, we're talking about big cities like Detroit, Chicago, New York, are saying to their people, hey, you need to just stay inside. Don't go out this weekend.
Yeah.
And blaming it on the Canadian fires, which, of course...
Well, there are also Michigan lawmakers who are saying, you take care of your forest fires or we're going to take care of it for you.
Yeah, like how?
Like, what are you going to do? Go mow down their forest? So one of the maps that I saw online is... here's an easy way for you to visualize what's happening. And then it showed where the population is in Canada. And it's actually not that populous of a country, but it's geographically huge. Right. And then it showed, and here's where the forests are, largely unpopulated in remote areas, right? And that's why once they get started, they can keep going. So there's a senator from Ohio, Senator Bernie Moreno. He's a close Trump ally. He announced yesterday, he's going to introduce legislation to sanction Canada over the wildfires.
You've
So,
got to know they're
what?
doing everything they can.
Oh,
And
my
of course,
gosh.
this hits close to home because we've got some bad stuff going on right here in Utah. You can see it in the air on any given day here. So we're not going to be blaming anybody here. And you look at what our people are doing, and I'm sure it's no different in Canada, to fight the fires. It's not like they're just saying, let them burn out. We'll see you in November. People are doing everything they can to stop it, and because it hurts their people too. Let's face it, it's bad for everyone.
They said they need to do more forest thinning, more fuel reduction, do prescribed burns. And the idea to me that you have a federal elected official who says, I will come into your country and do it because I don't like the way you're doing it. You do it my way, or I'm going to do it for you. Yeah. Well, that sounds like what I say to my kids when they're toddlers, but I would not imagine, just imagine if Canada said that to us, or Mexico, if wildfire smoke from California went into Mexico and Mexico said, take care of your wildfires or we're going to come take care of it for you. That is so wild.
But they are issuing
wildfires.
Yeah, they are issuing health alerts for a lot of those cities in the Midwest and the Northeast, and that's got to be concerning. And I think the people want to know that they're doing something about it, even if it's just blaming the Canadians. But
I don't know how that's helpful, but okay.
That we have to have people stay indoors. Of course, that's the solution. It's not like you got to move out of your city. They're not doing evacuations. They're just saying stay inside. And be careful.
Sure. And there's of course outside events that have been canceled, municipal swimming pools, nature camps, golf courses. They've had to close down in various places temporarily. But I have to tell you too about this wildfire picture of a train crew in Canada it really is wild, right? And I've been seeing it online for several days. But I thought when I first saw it, I thought it was an abandoned train that was being burned up. It's not. It was a train with a crew in it, totally surrounded by these flames, and they made it out safely. But it is bright orange, I'm sure, incredibly hot, right, as this train crew is trying to get down the train
Not a lot of
track.
oxygen there either.
No.
I mean, you're going through there literally probably holding your breath while you pass through. I forget the big fire here in Utah that seems to, what was the name of it? We had one here in Utah that was over 100,000 acres.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Cottonwood fire.
Cottonwood, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Iron Fire ended up being about 42,000 acres, but Cottonwood is.
Yeah, it's over 100. I think it was.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it had gotten very big, at least.
Oh,
one
I'm wrong. Cottonwood is 97,000 acres, and it's 90% contained. It was Babylon, and Babylon is 107,000 acres right now. It is the biggest fire in the country. Yeah.
What's the containment there? Does it say?
60.
Oh,
60%.
So they're doing the best they can, and I'm sure the Canadians are doing the same thing. It's just unfortunate. It's just it's something we're dealing with every year now in Canada, in Utah, and throughout the West and obviously North, because you have all these great open expanses of range that is tinderbox, and there's no water, there's drought everywhere. And it's not going to get any better, and things are just burning.
So we have a texture that tells us we need to educate ourselves.
Uh-oh.
Because Canada has minimal forest management, and that's what these lawmakers are saying is we don't like the way you manage your forest, and so we're going to come do it for you. That is our point.
Well, that's it.
They don't like it. They've
maybe
chosen to do a different way of managing their forests, but you can bet they're up fighting the fires right now.
Well, maybe they don't manage their forests in the sense that we make more fire breaks and do things like that. That may be helpful information that the Canadians sort of let Mother Nature take care of the situation where we do more preemptive management. That's a good point. And if that's the case, maybe some lawmakers in those northern cities have a right to at least be concerned
I don't
about
think
it.
so. We share a border, but we don't have to share policies.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand. But, when it comes into your city, it comes into your state, maybe there can be some level of cooperation between the two countries and decide how they're going to deal with it.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well,
Even if they don't, even if Canada doesn't do anything different, what are you going to do? You
Well,
can't build a wall
No, there's
tall
nothing
enough.
you can do. Nothing you can do. And that's true. But you can maybe try to convince them to get more active in their forest management. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
By
here.
what lever?
I know.
Tariffs?
Right.
I don't think that'll work. All right, look.
Okay.
Up next on Inside Sources, this story. Oh my gosh. There's a new test for male military service members to make sure they have enough testosterone to keep them, quote, on the leading edge of lethality. I have a hot take and some thoughts. Stay with us.
Hey there, it's Julie from Logan. Head up north where the air is clear for a refreshingly unexpected getaway. Start your day by singing yodelay at the top of your lungs on a canyon trail with views that go on for miles. Here's a secret. The National Forest is only 10 minutes from your hotel. What? I know. Next, rent horses or a side-by-side at Beaver Creek Lodge up Logan Canyon to spy colorful wildflowers and birds and stunningly beautiful scenery. After your day of adventure, wander downtown to check out our local shops selling everything from antiques to giant jigsaw puzzles to vintage clothing and goat's milk soap. Watch them hand-dip chocolates at Bluebird Candy, eat sourdough pizza, or drop into the family-friendly Prodigy Brew Pub where their deep-fried pickle spears are divine. I didn't even mention live theater performance like the Lyrics Laugh Out Loud Forever Plaid, or free concerts every weekday at noon in the Tabernacle, or community festivals, or, see what I'm saying? We are refreshingly Logan. Visit explorelogan.com, explorelogan.com.
The Movie Show broadcasting live today from Sound Sleep in Sandy, one of their 6 locations in Utah. Clearfield, Murray, Sandy, American Fork, Provo, and St. George. We've got Mandy Nelson from Sound Sleep here with us. And Mandy, the old saying, you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
Is so true when it comes to things like sleep apnea and the kind of sleep you're getting. You're getting sleep, so you're like, all right, everything must be okay. I'm not staying up all night. But,
But are you
that's
getting-
not all the way true.
That's right. Are you getting good quality sleep?
And that's what we got to determine. And
Yep.
that's why you guys have this great offer today. Amanda and I have been talking all week about getting checked for sleep apnea. Well, now's the time to take advantage.
Yeah. So today we're offering our free sleep screening, which is a take-home test that you can do in the comfort of your own home to see what's happening when you're sleeping, if your oxygen's dropping, if you're stopping breathing, snoring, those kinds of things. And then you bring that back and you'll sit down with one of our sleep professionals and they'll do a consultation with you, go over the data, and talk about an alternate to the CPAP machine.
And what is that alternate?
That is a mouthpiece. It's the oral appliance for sleep apnea. So it's a custom fit mouth guard that you wear at night. It positions your jaw forward, opens your airway naturally.
All right. Now, this is why it's such a good thing. For some people, they don't get checked for sleep apnea because they assume, and probably rightly so, when they go to the sleep doctor, the first thing will be like, okay, we'll get you on a CPAP machine. And they're like, I don't like the idea of having something strapped to my face. There are some people who went through that whole process, got the CPAP, and it just didn't work for them. They couldn't sleep with it on.
They stopped wearing it.
And if you can't sleep, then it's not helping your sleep.
Exactly. They stop wearing it, and then they're not treating their condition. So there are other options besides CPAP machine and that work just as well.
And this is a professional fit. This isn't just something you buy on Amazon and you put in your mouth.
No, please don't do that. Do a custom fit device.
All right. So what's the number to call to make that appointment for this free sleep screening and free sleep consultation?
Yeah. So give us a call at 801-716-8672, or you can go to soundsleepmedical.com.
Okay. But the free appointment, only good if you call during the movie show. 801-716-8672 for Sound Sleep.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Do you ever miss a segment of Inside Sources or want to rehear a conversation you particularly liked? Subscribe to the Inside Sources podcast. We upload each segment and the full show every weekday afternoon. Go to kslpodcast.com or follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
Any Hour Services can help unclog any drain in your house, whether you have a backup, a clog, or a slow drain you want fixed. Call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
911, tell me exactly what happened. My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but I've
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
The podcast, Cold, has gone deep on these kinds of stories.
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
Clearly, something happened on that couch because he cleaned it.
Find and follow Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
This story is one that made me roll my eyes and just say, like, what the heck? So, hot take Holly right now.
You're on a roll today. I like it.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth now says that military servicemen 30 and older will get testosterone testing as part of their annual physicals. And if the numbers are, quote, too low, whatever that means, they get some gender-affirming care in the form of testosterone replacement therapy. I mean, I just can't. But here's part of Hegseth's announcement, which he posted on X.
Our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage, which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance, your resilience, and your long-term health. And to meet that commitment today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best.
I mean, look, I have, before we bring on our guest, it's crazy. It's crazy. And before we bring on our guest, I want to tell you what Fox News host Jesse Waters posted, or what he said on the air. He said this. And while he was laughing, women on base, you better be careful. Port calls, women in Asia, you better be careful because these guys are going to be wild animals and you better watch out. Are you glorifying rape? Is that what you're doing?
And you can't. I mean, testosterone replacement therapy is you can't force that on our military members. I mean, it's
not forced.
Well,
it's just available if they test low.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
All right, we're going to bring on our guest and really dive in because she has a wealth of experience. Dr. Rosemary Lesser, a former Utah State representative, a veteran of the Air Force, a retired doctor, and if anybody knows about hormone levels and military effectiveness, I bet it's Dr. Lesser. So thanks for joining us, Rosemary.
Thank you so much. It's great to have a chance to talk with you about this.
All right, what is your first reaction? What was it when you heard that Hegseth is like, hey, we need testosterone for all these guys?
Well, the thing about it is that I'm always surprised when announcements like this are made like on a social media platform. And what I think about, coming from the military is that there are surgeons general for each branch of the military. And, this wasn't an announcement made in consort with the military professionals who are part of the military force. Generally, they are generals. And in addition to that, these surgeons general have advisors throughout the military in all of the specialties that give advice to up the chain of command. But, Holly, you mentioned that it was going to, what Secretary of Defense Hegseth said was all military members. So he didn't differentiate it by gender. And so women will be subject to this as well. And that's an area where I understand hormones very well. And the first thing that I have to say about this is that our military and militaries all around the world are always looking at ways that we can optimize performance in various job fields. Now, there are over 1 million military members in the United States. And one of the things that we have to remember is that even though Secretary Hegseth, talked about the war fighters and all of that, the military is this massive organization mostly involved with support and supporting those people who are on the front lines. But this particular program would involve testing for everybody. And virtually every specialty organization says that you should never treat based on just a single test. The test results will vary, whether you've been up all night or not, for example. Or for women, if they're taking oral contraceptives, that will have a dramatic effect on their testosterone levels. So turning this expensive adventure loose on the military as a mandatory test strikes me as a fairly bold and not substantiated by any medical evidence that this truly improves the fighting capability of our U.S. military members.
And as a doctor, Dr. Lesser, do you see some risks here to some of our members for having to go through this? I mean, there's certainly a downside, isn't there?
There certainly is a downside, and not the least of which is the anxiety that people have when they get tests that really don't reflect what's going on with their body. And for instance, for women, I told you that there are different levels depending on where a person is in their cycle or whether they're on medication. And quite honestly, I think that for many military women, I don't think that they would be interested in sharing with their commander whether they're taking oral contraceptives or not. That's none of their business, and military members don't give up the right to privacy. HIPAA still exists for military members. So I think that this is a Pandora's box. And, I guess the thing about it is I reject the hypothesis that some artificial definition of hormone levels will make our military more efficient in the job that they do.
So Dr. Lesser, I can't. I'm really having trouble wrapping my head around maybe testing women for testosterone levels, especially since the Secretary Hegseth has said multiple times that he would not even approve women advancing. And we know this year he just continues to block advancements for women in the military branches. Do you think that there will be clarification? Because right now he made that announcement. There's not a lot of clarity about what that looks like. Do you really think he's going to try and test women?
I think he will. And like you, I have the same response that you do, Holly. And
Okay.
and quite honestly, I'm not alone in this response. The medical community has reacted with this. Now, I have to say that, people in the manosphere and so forth have, often rejected, what they call mainstream medicine, and just like, mainstream media, that they feel that they have a special insight. But the main principle is first do no harm. And it's not clear to me that unleashing testosterone to our military members, which has a lot of different side effects for both men and women, is something that we want to do carte blanche. Now, having said that, if a person truly has a deficiency of any hormone, then fortunately in our military medical system, there are specialists who can treat them. And I see no reason that we need to veer from what is currently being done, is that military members receive health care, and that's a wonderful thing. And they should receive it based on individualized evaluation, which is much more than just one single test.
Right. I wanted to have a follow-up question about that. So testosterone replacement therapy can be really beneficial for people who are maybe symptomatic and, to your point, more than just a single blood test.
Correct. But in general, if you look at the age distribution of people who suffer from testosterone deficiency, it generally tends to be in the significantly older age groups. For example, our Secretary of Health and Human Services has shared with the world that he is on testosterone replacement therapy at 72. So, that is his own thing. But when you look at the distribution of our active duty military members, that age group, which has the largest percentage of people with testosterone deficiency, is not in the military age group at all. Again, we're...
Thanks for joining us.
Very troubling. Thank you, Dr. Lesser, and thanks for joining us on such short notice. That was Dr. Rosemary Lesser.
Oh, you were so welcome, and thank you for the good work that you're doing in discussing all of these interesting topics occurring not only in Utah but around the United States. So thank you.
Thanks,
You
Rosemary.
bet. And speaking of interesting
Bye-bye.
topics, we're going to talk about something a little bit lighter when we come back, Holly. That's ways that movies can make you feel young when we come back.
Woohoo.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour: Syracuse police are warning parents of a trend called teen takeovers.
The police department says they recently became aware of this teen takeover trend that encourages teenagers to gather at a local business and has shown to result in property damage and fights. Posts circulating social media this week show that the takeover in Syracuse is planned for tonight. Police say they are closely monitoring the situation, and they are encouraging teens to gather with friends in safe and respectful ways, and not in ways that could result in unlawful activity. McKenna Rodriguez, KSL News Radio.
Utah Fire Watch crews are making progress on the Babylon fire in San Juan County. It's now 62% contained, but has burned over 107,000 acres. The Stookie fire in Tooele County has grown overnight, now sitting at more than 10,000 acres. Containment is up to 13%. Weather conditions could pose a problem for crews today, with a chance of lightning and gusting winds in the area. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The FDA and the CDC say an intestinal illness making thousands of people sick has been linked to shredded iceberg lettuce served at Taco Bell in 5 states, including Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and West Virginia.
The FDA identifying a single supplier of the lettuce from Mexico used by the restaurants where sick people say they ate. Taco Bell voluntarily removing the impacted lettuce nationwide, saying in a statement it will be replaced within 24 hours in select states, adding, "We believe public health is a shared responsibility among restaurants, their suppliers, and authorities."
ABC Sam Champion reporting. Your money at this moment. The Dow is off 154 points at this hour. We're at 52,398. Coming up, we've got scattered storms in the forecast. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
The movie show is broadcasting live today from Sound Sleep in Sandy, where they've got an offer. If you call during the movie show to set up an appointment between now and the end of the movie show, you don't have to wait until the movie show because you guys are so generous, Mandy. If you call 801-716-8672, you can schedule a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation. And you've got even cooler prizes thrown into that. If you first of all, if you make the appointment today during the movie show, you'll be entered to win a gift. And if you keep your appointment, because apparently some people call but then don't keep their appointment. But if you do, what do you get?
If you keep your appointment, come in for your consultation, we're going to give you 2 movie tickets.
Okay, so let me recap the free stuff. Free sleep consultation, free sleep screening, and if you show up and do those 2 free things, then you get another free thing.
Right.
I love that.
And then you get entered into a drawing for another free gift, which is our Sleep Better basket.
And those are awesome. Free things are awesome. We love free things.
Yeah.
However, the thing that you're testing them for is something that they need to be tested for. Even if this stuff wasn't free, it would absolutely be worth it.
Yeah. I mean, people think about all the time, oh, I should probably go do that. Just a little incentive. Come in, see if you're suffering from sleep apnea, see what's happening while you sleep at night.
I bet no matter what, no matter how severe or how mild your sleep apnea is, the number of times that thing will report that you stopped breathing will open your eyes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For me, it made my jaw hit the floor because I was trying to do the math on that and it didn't math right. That it was like, how could it be more times than there are minutes in an hour?
I know. It's scary. It's scary. And long term, you don't want to deal with this.
But it also explained a lot of things that I thought were related to other issues.
Right.
Which was I wasn't able to sleep all the way through the night without having to get up to use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, is this for the rest of my life?
No.
I was so happy to find out that's not the case.
Right. A lot of people do think they're getting up to use the restroom because they need to. No, it's usually an apneic event that's waking you. Body's awake.
Your body's like, since we're awake, you might as well go use the restroom.
Yeah.
And that's this is the kind of thing that getting your sleep apnea corrected can do. And that's what Sound Sleep does. It's sleep apnea treatment without a CPAP, oral appliance therapy. What's that number they got to call between now and the end of the movie show?
Call us at 801-716-8672, or you can go to soundsleepmedical.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
No major delays on all our freeways across the Wasatch Front. I-15 clean and clear between Ogden and Provo. I-80 between Tooele County and Summit County. No delays there. Where we are seeing slowdowns is in the usual places. Bangerter Highway, both directions a little congested approaching the 201 freeway. And in Utah County, it's still eastbound 2100 north, seeing some fairly heavy traffic between Redwood Road and I-15. UDOT construction alert plan for nightly lane closures and weekend delays on Interstate 80 in Parley's Canyon due to several major projects. Lane closures will continue throughout the summer. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Highs in the mid-90s today with a decent chance for scattered thunderstorms that could reach the valley floor. More storms tomorrow, and then we'll get them returning next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right now, it's 86 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So a lot of people are always looking for ways to stay young, healthy, and beautiful. But the so-called fountain of youth can be right at your neighborhood movie theater. Actually, it's maybe the sort of fountain of youth.
That would not be the healthy part. So, look, if you needed another reason to go to the movies this weekend, there's this. There's a new study published this week in the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health that says engaging in cultural experiences like going to the movies or visiting a museum, and they could be linked to slower physiological aging.
Yeah, so your physiological age, which is basically how old your cells are, is different than your birth age, and people, as you might expect, lifestyle choices can increase or decrease your physiological age. And a study of English adults found that engaging with culture is a lifestyle choice that can actually slow your physiological aging.
Look, I'm a fan of that because then I don't have to go on 77-mile bike rides.
That'll do it too. Maybe
So-
make you older.
No, well, that it would probably kill me. Actually, is probably what it would do. So I just think it's really interesting. So this is people who reported engaging in cultural activities every few months or more had a mean physiological age of 66.9, while those who didn't was 69.9, which, I mean, that's statistically
3
significant.
years. 3 years.
Yeah, it was almost 2,000 adults age 50 and older who participated in that. It was a longitudinal study, so it went over quite a while.
And it wasn't just movies. It was movies, museums, the art gallery, theater, concert, opera. It was a lot of things like that. But getting out and doing those kind of things, and I think it makes sense. I wouldn't have guessed 3 years of life. You know, that's a significant difference between people that do and don't. But I mean, it does make sense that people are getting out and doing those kind of things. And it's because you'd think exercise.
Right.
Or, you know, no smoking, no drinking,
exactly.
those kind of things.
Yeah.
The straightforward things. But going to cultural events, good idea.
So there's a person who is an executive director of Dementia Care Aware in California who wasn't involved in the study, but she said, first of all, the study is observational. Okay, that's fair. And she said that cognitive stimulation and social engagement leads to better physiologic aging, so it makes sense. She also said, especially when it comes to dementia, that sometimes if you start to have those cognitive declines, then you're going to start being limited from being able to go to the theater and have those benefits. So it like once that decline happens, that maybe it's less protective. But I think it's interesting. And of course, like with every medical study, it's like more research needs to be done. That's like you put it at the end of every research
But
paper.
it was a significant study.
Yeah, absolutely.
1,900 adults age 50 and over who participated with this the English longitudinal study of aging in England. They were equally split between men and women. And again, so you've got adults 50 and over, and those that were engaged in this conduct were at a physiological age, their average 66.9 years, and the others 69.9 that didn't participate in those cultural activities.
Yeah, I just think it's fun.
That's a legitimate study, you know.
It is. And longitudinal means that it's not just a one point in time, right? They've looked at it over a period of time. So I think it's interesting to say, look, how does this line up with what you do, which is exercising?
Right.
And one of the things that I'm seeing in medical news today that says that, of course, all those things can help, and these can help as much, if you can believe it or not. So one of the things they look at is your pulse pressure, your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, your body mass index, and your walking speed as physiological markers of your age. I pick going to the movies.
Here's what's sort of ironic, though. When they talk about going to the movies, they post this picture of this giant tub of buttery, salty popcorn. Hey, go to the movies, and that's probably not going to help your physiological age.
Probably not.
Although it's my favorite part of the movie.
You know, so there's even things like a book club or a library program or free cultural events. And those happen all the time, right? We've got cultural events. In fact, last weekend, there was a big cultural event in Salt Lake City, and it had to do with Japanese culture and Little Japan here here in Utah. So there's lots and lots of opportunities that we have to be engaged culturally.
Boy, and if you look around and you go into your community's website, there's something going on virtually every. I went to the Salt Lake Arts Festival a couple weeks ago, and then I read in some journal that there's one in art of all places, Ogden this weekend.
Yeah.
Ogden Arts Festival, the Saturday and Sunday. So I mean, and I'm not hyping that by any means. I'm just saying there's something going on every weekend. There's even down in Torrey, they have these fairs every Saturday. The sort of the farmers market kind of things where they sell goods and they have events and things like that going on.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a few actually, because the Ogden Arts Festival you mentioned, there's a chariot festival in Kearns. Okay, I didn't know that. It's with an traditional Indian chariot pulling ceremony. Chariot. There's an Orem Peruvian festival, the Wasatch Wildfire Festival in Sandy. There are some music events. There is the Utah Shakespeare Festival, of course. And then there's just a bunch of things that you can do. There's the Utah History Museum now up on Utah's Capitol Hill if you want to be inside this weekend. And then there's movies.
And we are a week away from one of the funnest weekends of the year in Utah, which is Pioneer Day, the 24th of July, huge celebration, parades, activities, things like that. We're going to be at the Bountiful Parade on Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. So come join us there.
And one of the things with the rodeo, like the Days of 47 rodeo, and there's that herding that they do down State Street, right? There's always pictures of that. I don't remember what that's called, the cattle drive. But the rodeo starts on the 21st, which is next Tuesday. So my daughter loves to go to rodeo and take photographs and stuff, and so she's planning on going this next week.
Which means you're planning on going.
No, I'm not going.
You're going to let her go with some friends.
Yeah, she's going to go with some friends. I'm very allergic to animals, and I went one time and I thought I was going to die, literally.
No, I have bad hay fever, but I love rodeos.
Yeah.
I mean, once a year you got to go see a rodeo, but you can't.
I really can't breathe and do it. I'll watch it on TV. But those kind of activities, right? I just think it's really fun to look and say, hey, look, here's something you can do to keep yourself young. I know one of the things to do is to keep your brain active and engaged in things. And so being able to go to a movie, especially if it makes you think maybe, or a museum, or I don't know, you're not on social media very much, but I see on social media, there are some people who do these little short videos about like explaining artwork. And they'll take a picture that's a couple hundred years old even, and they'll say, I want you to look at these details, right? Here's a picture of, when this mom just found out that her husband was killed in war. And it will just show her like slumped on a bench and she's holding a letter. When you look at it and you don't have a lot of the background, it means less, but it's like, okay, here's why this was written. Here's what this letter is. It just notified her. Here's her little 3-year-old wondering why mom is collapsed on the couch or whatever it is. So lots of opportunities to keep your mind young. And
so go see a movie this weekend. Go to the museum. Go to an art gallery.
And concert. Speaking of movies,
yep. Oh, yes.
We're going to keep talking about movies with the KSL Movie Show. So the big question of the week is, what movie felt like it went on forever, regardless of its actual runtime? You can text us the answer to that at 57500.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
The Movie Show, broadcasting live today from Sound Sleep in Sandy. They've got 6 locations, and that's a good to know, because that means wherever you are, you're not a far drive away to stop into Sound Sleep to take advantage of this free offer that Mandy's going to tell you about right now.
Yeah, so today we're offering a free sleep screening, which is an at-home sleep study that you do in the comfort of your own bed. You just do it one night, and then you're going to bring it back, and you'll sit down and meet with one of our sleep professionals for a consultation to go over that data, talk about what's going on with you while you sleep, and talk about the oral appliance. Excuse me.
Yeah, so instead of a CPAP, Sound Sleep offers an oral appliance that they custom fit. If you've ever had to do like the really fancy scans at the dentist, you guys have that same equipment.
We do, which makes for an accurate fit. So it's super easy.
It might make you disturbed to see your teeth in that
In that
living
kind of
color
light.
and 3D, but
It's cool.
sure enough, that's what's going on in there. But that matters, though, Mandy, because it's got to be custom fit to your mouth in order for this to work right.
Right. It's custom fit and then it's adjustable. So we're able to position that lower jaw forward because with obstructive apnea, what's happening is it's an action of your lower jaw, your tongue, your soft palate falling back, restricting your airway at night. So the oral appliance is just going to position that lower jaw forward a little bit, normally millimeters, to keep that airway open naturally rather than CPAP, which is blowing it open and you've got a mask and hoses and water and all that stuff.
Sleep apnea is linked to some health issues that people may not realize. I mean, if they listen to the movie show, they realize it
Right.
because we've talked about
Right.
it. But for people who don't know much about sleep apnea, poor sleep can affect your overall health in a bunch of different ways. Why don't you tell us a couple?
Yeah. High blood pressure, heart disease is a really big one, early onset of dementia due to that oxygen dropping throughout the night.
Those don't sound like minor things.
No, they're not.
So getting sleep apnea corrected is so important, and you guys are offering a way to find out if you have it, find out what intensity you have it,
Right.
for free.
Exactly. Yeah. Give us a call.
Okay, what's the number?
801-716-8672, or you can go to soundsleepmedical.com.
If you make and keep the appointment because it's the movie show, we've talked Mandy into one extra bonus thing.
Yes, come see us, keep your appointment, and you'll get 2 free movie tickets.
801-716-8672.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
We want you to join the conversation. Do you have an idea or a topic that you think we should talk about more on the show? Let us know. You can send us an email at insidesources@ksl.com and tell us what you think we should cover or who we should talk to. We're always looking for ideas, and we would love to keep you, our listeners, included in the chat.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The new Inside Sources.
Well, Greek mythology is on full display this weekend as the epic film The Odyssey comes to theaters.
So Holly Skordis, my last name is Greek.
Yes.
And so my Greek heritage, I studied the Iliad and the Odyssey
Aww.
forever and ever. So I'm very excited about this topic today, and this is a movie I absolutely will watch. So I'm dying to hear from Andy and Val about the movie and sort of what it entails. And I don't know. I know the Odyssey like the back of my hand, so I'm interested in how they're going to portray that in a movie.
Well, Andy and Val are joining us live from Sound Sleep in Sandy. All right. Tell us
Well, they
about
put the
this
ill
epic.
in Iliad and the odd in Odyssey.
No,
I'm just kidding. It's not like that at all.
You're cheesy.
Okay, well, tell us about it.
Oh, it was so satisfying for me. I don't know yet what Andy thinks about it because we like to surprise each other. But for me, the epic that was put together in that theater was something. They found a sweet spot for a new epic movie.
That's great.
There's not a lot of movies that are an experience, but this thing in IMAX was an experience. My teeth were rattling. My chair was rattling from the sound. Like, it wasn't a 4D seat, where they're supposed to rattle.
Wow.
This was just rattling because the sound was so intense in the auditorium. And it's just where I was sitting. I usually sit in the upper deck of the IMAX at Jordan Commons. And this time I was sitting down on the back row of the lower deck. And I swear every speaker was pointed right at me.
That's how you feel in the IMAX theater. And Christopher Nolan, the director, he loves to be a scientist of sound. And so he often plays with sound to see exactly what goes with each movie that he makes. And it doesn't always hit correctly. He's missed on a few movies. But this one, I don't feel like he missed. It did get loud at the points it needed to be loud. But his experience that he created, it was pretty amazing.
And so it is what you want to see. I mean, it's one of the most epic stories ever written. Maybe outside the Bible, it might be the most epic story considered to be epic by people who've read it. So you don't want to do this halfway. You don't want to and the fact that he used practical sets and shot boats out in the water instead of boats on a tank of water with a green screen behind it.
Hold on. What's a practical set?
Practical effects. So they
so
shoot
they
on
actually
location.
built a set on location. So it's not CGI. But the cool thing too, I don't know if you knew this, Andy, and both of you, but all of the actors and the director and the cinematographer got inside the horse, the Trojan horse, for that scene. So they were all smushed in there because Christopher Nolan doesn't mess around.
I remember feeling that same way when I watched Midway. Or not Midway. What's the war one he did? I can't think of the title.
Or no, sorry, Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
Yeah.
When they were hiding in the ship. You get that feeling. So him using real things and not digital things, you kind of just feel it even as you're watching it. Now, there is some digital effects. The Cyclops is obviously digital, and they do a few things, but it hit all the things that it actually, there was one that I didn't remember. They fight these really tall guys in armor, and I did not know who they were. I actually had to look them up after the movie, but everything else I was familiar with. And I gave this a really high grade. It helped that I knew the story, and it helped that I knew the names already, so that when I heard the names, I wasn't trying to figure out what that word was, because, names like Clytemnestra and, Helen, obviously you can figure out, but Telemachus, Eurymachus, there's like a whole, Eurylochus was played by Himesh Patel, that was kind of his lieutenant, but everything about this was epic, and I'm a sucker for epic.
Is this one that you need to see at an IMAX theater, not one that you want to watch in your basement a year from now, Val?
It was made for the IMAX experience. It was shot on an IMAX camera, which is very specific. And so if this is something you're into, go and see it while you can see it in the IMAX experience. Now, not to say that when it comes out digitally on streaming that I'm not going to watch it in my basement on my big TV. I totally am, and I'm going to enjoy it. But
you won't have the same experience doing that.
You're really not. This is the one that you need to go see in IMAX, but you can also see it in 35 millimeter if you want to as well.
So I had this thing that I saw this morning on this movie, that what you said, he shot it on IMAX film. It's the best watch, they're saying, on a 70 millimeter IMAX screen. There's only 25 theaters in the U.S., and so fans are paying up to $1,000 to go and see it on this giant IMAX screen. So
they put tickets on sale a year ago, Holly, last July, and they sold them out on the day they went on sale.
Wow.
So who's the star? Who plays Odysseus?
Matt Damon is Odysseus.
Oh, good. Love him.
Anne Hathaway plays his wife Penelope.
Wow.
Tom Holland plays his son Telemachus.
Big
let's
names.
see.
Huge
we
names.
got we've got Robert Pattinson, who's the Batman, who's from Twilight. He plays Antonius, the kind of evil suitor who believes Odysseus is dead and wants to marry the queen. Himesh Patel plays one of the lieutenants. Elliot Page plays. I didn't know Elliot Page's character. I don't know if they kind of created that character for this movie to play the role that they did. But I mean, these are some of the recognizable faces, and there's more. I mean, I could probably go down because every time I'd be like, "Oh, they're in this too, huh?"
So
all the people that Nolan uses were in this.
So for an epic movie, is this like incredibly long?
Oh yes.
No, I don't think it's
3 hours is pretty
it's
long.
It's not 3 hours. It's just
2 hours
over
and 52 minutes.
Yeah, it's just over 2 hours.
52 minutes past 2 hours.
52 minutes over.
That's like saying Thelma and Louise drove just over the cliff.
Yeah, just barely
at the end of the movie.
Listen.
Sure.
I've seen 3-hour movies. This didn't feel like it was 3 hours, though, to me. It felt like it went pretty fast. The pacing was good.
I think that leads right into the movie question, which you chose this week, which is what movie felt like it went on forever, regardless of its actual runtime.
Because there are movies that are long that don't feel long because you're so invested in the story and you're so drawn in. And then there's some where you're like, when is this finally going to end?
Yeah.
And there are a few of those. So I'm curious, how do you, I know Greg doesn't see a lot of movies, but Holly, I'm sure there's been some that you're just like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah.
All right, here's Holly's.
Probably.
Which one?
It's any Godzilla movie. I thought my kids went through a phase where they liked them. I thought I would just gonna lose my mind. They're just so like there's no plot. There's no dialogue to speak of. They went on forever. They could have been 20 minutes and it felt like 4 hours.
Okay.
I have a tear going down my face right now because I think you have to be into Godzilla and King Kong if you're watching those movies. Like, that is a very specific genre because I love them.
And see, I feel you on Godzilla King of the Monsters. I remember walking out of that. It was shortly after Avengers Endgame played, and somebody who was at the screening was like, whoa. I mean, I think that was better than Endgame. And I turned around and was like, I had to bite my tongue from saying, did we watch the same movie?
Thanks for not doing that. Okay, here's mine. Now, I have to say, in preface to this is one of my favorite movies, but only for the last 30 minutes. The first 90 minutes are like having your teeth pulled, but it's all worth it for the end. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's a little bit of a long movie. The end is incredible, but getting there is painful. I don't even play the rest of this.
I have heard that about this movie.
I mean, I love the movie. I love it, but man, I could just turn on the last 30 minutes. I'd be happy.
Well, you can, Greg.
Chariots of Fire. Yeah, I know.
You don't have to wait for the film to get to that point like they used to.
Don't appreciate it.
Okay, what about you guys? We only have a minute left.
Mine is another Christopher Nolan movie, and it's Tenet, and it's an hour and 50 minutes, but you can't hear any dialogue. And so, it's...
Wait, is that an hour 50 or 2 hours and 30 minutes?
It's an hour 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Andy?
To me, and I hate to say this, but Spider-Man 3 took forever. And it didn't help that I had kind of, like, I got out of work early that day, but instead of going home, I hadn't seen Spider-Man 3 yet, so I went to watch it. And I thought it was only going to take 2 hours, and it took, like,
it was 2:19.
It took a lot longer than I expected, and my wife called me while I was in the movie, and I hadn't told her I was going to a movie yet, and we had small kids. You can kind of see where this is going. So then I was really impatient for the movie to end because I needed to get out and make the call back.
Oh, my gosh.
But I didn't want to miss any of it. So that one felt long. Plus, it wasn't my favorite of the Spider-Man movies. But I have others. I didn't want to say the one that really felt the longest, Holly, because I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Oh, What's Lord that? Of the Rings.
Return of the King.
Return of the King.
I mean, it is 3
and that
hours
was before
and 21
the 4-hour extended cut.
If
this was in theaters. I thought Return of the King felt a little too long.
I love those, and they didn't feel long to me. Even the extended version at 4 hours. So.
But I like the extended version of Two Towers and Fellowship, so I don't know what's wrong with me. But
no, it's all good. It's all good. Well, that is it for us on Inside Sources this week. So we're going to turn it over to you guys, our friends at the movie show. Stay tuned.
I'm going to see this one.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL